Ever stop and wonder who actually sets the price when you buy a stock or trade a currency? It kind of feels like there's just one official price for everything, right? Well, it turns out not all financial markets are built the same. Some have a king calling all the shots, and others, well, they're more like a giant sprawling global bazaar. So let's figure out who's really in control. All right, so first up, let's look at a market structure you're probably pretty familiar with, a place where one single entity basically runs the whole show. Just think about the stock market. It's the perfect example of a centralized market. Every single buyer and every single seller has to go through one central gatekeeper. You could call them the master of the universe for that stock, but their official title is a specialist. Now, this is where the specialist power gets a little scary. Because they're the only game in town, they literally control the price. So let's say a ton of people suddenly want to sell, but there aren't enough buyers. What can the specialist do? Easy. They just widen the spread. That's the gap between the buying and selling price, which makes it more expensive for you to trade. The bottom line is they can manipulate the quotes to protect themselves, which, let's be honest, isn't always what's best for you. This whole setup feels a bit like a monopoly, doesn't it? It really makes you wonder, what if there wasn't one single person in charge? What would that even look like? And that question, well, it brings us to the biggest, most massive market on the entire planet, the foreign exchange market. You know it as Forex, and it plays by a completely different set of rules. To really get a sense of the scale here, just look at this number. We're talking about over $7 trillion. That's not in a year or a month. That's traded in the Forex market every single day. The sheer size of it is exactly why no one person, no one bank can ever hope to control it. It's just too big. So what's the secret sauce? It's one word: decentralization. See, unlike the stock market, which has its central building, the Forex market has no physical home. It's a massive, global network of participants all trading directly with each other, all day, all night. And this is basically what it looks like. It's a giant interconnected web. You've got banks, big financial firms, brokers, and individual traders all linked up, all competing with each other. There's no gatekeepers sitting in the middle telling everyone what the price is. So what does this actually mean for you, the trader? Well, I love how one source put it. So many choices, awesome. All of that fierce competition between dealers means you're way more likely to get the absolute best price out there. They have to fight for your business. So let's put it side by side. The centralized market, it's a monopoly. One boss, one price. The decentralized Forex market, it's pure, raw competition. You get multiple quotes from tons of participants all trying to win your trade. The difference is absolutely night and day. Okay, I know what you might be thinking, a market with no central control. That sounds like complete and utter chaos, right? The Wild West of finance. But you'd be surprised. There's actually a hidden order to it all. Just because there's no single boss doesn't mean it's a total free-for-all. Nope. In fact, the market has a surprisingly clear hierarchy. And really, the best way to picture the structure is to think of it like a ladder, with different kinds of players sitting on different rungs. And here it is, the FX ladder. Right at the very top, you've got the huge, major banks. Then as you move down, you find smaller banks, big companies, and then, all the way at the bottom, that's us, the retail traders. This ladder is the absolute key to understanding how prices get made, and more importantly, who gets the best ones first. So, you ready? Let's climb right to the very top rung of this ladder and step inside the ultra-exclusive club known as the interbank market. This is the beating heart of the entire Forex world. It's where the giants, we're talking Deutsche Bank, Citi, JP Morgan, trade currencies directly with one another in absolutely mind-boggling amounts. These guys don't just participate in the market, they are the market. They create the liquidity that makes the whole thing go. And these banks aren't, just picking up the phone. They do their business on two main electronic platforms, EBS and Reuters. The easiest way to think of them is like the Coke and Pepsi of the FX world. They're in a constant battle for business. And that competition is what keeps the market super efficient. And this competition gets so specialized that certain platforms become the go-to spot for specific currencies. If you're trading the euro against the dollar, for example, the deepest liquidity is going to be on EBS. But if you're trading the British pound against the dollar, everybody knows the real action is over on Reuters. But, and this is so important, here's the secret handshake of the interbank market.
not everyone gets the same price. It all comes down to one simple thing: credit. It works just like when you go to get a loan. A bank's reputation, its relationships, that determines the rate it gets. A better relationship means a better price. Period.
Okay, so you've got these titans trading trillions at the very top of the ladder. So where do people like you and me fit into this whole picture?
Well, the price pretty much trickles down the rungs. The interbank market? They get the absolute best rates, the tightest possible spreads. The next level down, think hedge funds, big corporations, they get slightly wider spreads. And by the time that price finally makes its way down to us, at the very bottom, the retail traders, well, our spread is the widest of all. But here's the game changer. Something came along and just shattered this old structure. The internet and online retail brokers. They completely smashed the old barriers that used to lock people like us out of this market completely.
It's given us, the little guys, the chance to, and I absolutely love this line from the source material, poke them with a very long and cheap stick. For the first time ever, we can actually step into the same arena as the biggest players in global finance.
Now, having that access is incredibly powerful, but as the legendary trader Paul Tudor Jones once said, success requires an unquenchable thirst for information and knowledge. So now you've seen the hidden structure, you know how the game is played. The real question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge?